We all love dogs, right? I mean, who doesn't love a furry friend?
Yeah, they're the best.
But
And
you know, there's a scary side to it too.
definitely.
4.5 million dog bites every year
It's a lot.
in the U.S. alone. That's a crazy statistic.
Yeah, it's a big number. And you know what's even scarier is
Yeah.
the CDC saying like 800,000 of those need like serious medical attention.
Ooh, okay, so we're not talking.
Not just a nip, just
Yeah.
a nick on the ankle.
Yeah,
This
is the real.
serious stuff. So today, that's what we're diving into. How to survive a dog attack.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, it is. And you know, we've got some fascinating articles here.
Oh, cool.
And we're gonna pull out the most useful tips,
Okay.
the insights, you know, so you're prepared,
Right.
not terrified. I want to introduce everyone to our expert, someone who's spent a lot of time around dogs
Yeah.
and really understands, you know, what makes them tick.
I've always been fascinated by dogs, you know.
Even the friendliest dog can bite if it feels threatened or
Huh.
scared.
So true. So, you know, we're talking 800,000 bites needing a doctor.
Yeah.
That's not just a little.
No, puncture wounds, lacerations.
What kind of injuries are we talking about here?
We're talking crushed bones, nerve damage. I mean, especially for kids, the face and neck,
Oh, of course.
really vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, and those injuries, they can be long-term. Surgery, rehab, the whole 9 yards.
Wow. That's, I think, a lot more serious than a lot of people realize. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'd imagine there's a big emotional impact too, right? You don't.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a dog attack, it's traumatic.
Yeah.
Anxiety, fear, even PTSD. It's
Yeah.
not something you just brush off.
Right. So this is why we're doing this deep dive. We're talking about real risks here.
Right.
Real consequences. So how do we avoid being a statistic?
Well, I think understanding dog behavior is key. It's like learning their language.
Okay, so let's talk dog language. What are some of the things that people often get wrong? I've heard that like growling doesn't always mean a dog is about to attack.
That's right. Growling, it's communication. It's like a warning signal. Hey, back off. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It can be fear, anxiety, not necessarily aggression.
So how do we tell the difference
Right.
between a back off growl and like a playful growl? Are there other signs? Like, should we be looking at?
Absolutely. You got to look at the whole picture, the body language. A fearful dog, they might be stiff, weight shifted back, maybe some lip licking or yawning, tail tucked,
Okay.
avoiding eye contact. Now, a playful dog, loose, wiggly, wagging tail, maybe they'll do a play bow. Like, hey, let's have some fun.
So it's all about reading the whole picture,
Right.
not just one thing.
Exactly, like putting together a puzzle. The
Yeah.
more pieces you have, the clearer it becomes. And understanding those subtle signals, that can help you avoid dangerous situations altogether.
I'm starting to see like how much I was missing before.
Yeah, it's amazing what you start to notice.
It's really interesting. So, okay, let's talk about some of those preventive techniques you mentioned.
Sure.
I've heard of these pat, pet, pause, and treat and retreat.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah.
They're all about giving dogs space and choice. You know, it helps build trust, prevents them from feeling threatened.
Okay, so like pat, pet, pause, you're basically asking permission.
Exactly. So you pat your legs invitingly,
Okay.
and if the dog comes up, you can give a brief pet on the chest and then pause. If they lean in for more, great. If they back away, you respect their space.
That makes total sense. You're letting the dog
Right,
kind
yeah.
of dictate the interaction.
You got it.
What about treat and retreat? This one I'm intrigued by.
Okay, so with that one, you toss a treat behind the dog. It encourages them to move away from you,
Okay.
but they're associating you with something positive. This can be really helpful if a dog seems a little nervous.
Well, yeah, like, hey, I'm cool. I come bearing gifts.
Exactly. No need to be scared.
I love that. Positive reinforcement without putting pressure on the dog. But what happens if it's not just, you know, like a vibe? It's
Right.
like an off-leash dog
Oh, yeah.
coming right at you, maybe growling. What do you do then?
Okay, well, that's when things get a bit more intense. And it's natural to feel fear in that situation. But the worst thing you could do is panic and run.
Wait, really? Why? I would think that's...
I know, right? It seems counterintuitive, but running can actually trigger their prey drive.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, dogs, they're really attuned to our energy. So if you're running and screaming, it confirms that you're a threat. It's like waving a red flag in front of a bull.
Okay, so no running, but standing still when a potentially aggressive dog is charging at you,
Yeah.
that's pretty scary too. What else can you do?
Well, first, try to stay calm. I know it's easier said than done, but remember your body language is speaking volumes to the dog.
Ah, okay.
So avoid direct eye contact.
Got it.
Keep your body relaxed, but still,
Okay.
and turn slightly sideways.
Yeah.
You want to appear less threatening.
So even if you're freaking out on the inside project,
Yeah.
like inner Zen master calm on the outside.
Exactly. You want to show the dog you're not a threat, you're not prey. Now, this is where things get interesting. Michael Shikashio,
Okay.
who's a renowned expert on canine aggression, he recommends using what he calls environmental objects as barriers.
Environmental objects, what do you mean?
Think about anything you have on hand. Your backpack, a jacket, even a tree branch. Put it between you and the dog.
Yeah.
Creates a physical obstacle
Okay.
that can buy you some time and space.
That's a great tip. I never thought about using my backpack as a barrier.
Yeah, it's amazing how everyday objects can become tools for safety.
And what about things like pepper spray?
Pepper spray can be effective, but you got to use it correctly.
Yeah.
Be aware of the wind direction. Make sure you don't end up spraying yourself.
Noted. But I can definitely see the value in carrying something like that, especially if you're walking alone or in areas where you might encounter off-leash dogs. So far, we've covered a lot of prevention.
Yeah. But let's face it, sometimes things escalate and we need to know what to do during an actual attack.
Right.
That's a whole other level of intense. Are you ready to dive into that?
Let's do it. All right. So we're talking about what happens if a dog actually attacks.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, but you got to be prepared.
Right.
Knowing what to do can help you react properly.
Yeah. Minimize the damage, hopefully.
Exactly. So if those prevention tactics fail and a dog is actually attacking you, what are your priorities?
Okay. Everyone take a deep breath. This is heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But we're in this together. So if a dog is attacking, what's the number one thing to do?
Two main things, really. You want to protect your vital areas,
Okay.
and you want to put something between you and the dog.
Okay, let's break those down. When you say vital areas,
Yeah.
what exactly are we talking about?
Think face, neck, chest, abdomen. Those are the most vulnerable spots.
Right, makes sense.
If you get knocked down, curl into a ball, chin to your chest, cover your head and neck with your hands. So basically make yourself as small a target as possible.
Exactly. Make it harder for the dog to get to those vital areas.
Got it. And you mentioned putting something between you and the dog. Is
Wow.
that like those barriers we talked about before?
Exactly. Anything you can grab. Backpack, jacket, stick,
Yeah.
even your arm if you have to.
Yeah.
The goal is to create a shield.
Right.
Just something to delay the attack,
Yeah.
buy some time.
So it doesn't have to be like a perfect defense.
Right. Just something to slow them down.
Okay, that makes sense. Are there like other techniques, like things you would only use as a last resort I've read about? Like string ups or even choking a dog out?
Yeah, those are out there.
Yeah.
And they're definitely more extreme, not for every situation.
Right.
They can be risky,
Of course, yeah.
physically demanding.
Yeah.
The thing is, in a really severe attack,
Mm,
especially if a child is involved,
right.
you might have to do whatever it takes to stop the dog.
It's a scary thought, but it's reality, right?
Yeah, it's better to be prepared.
Absolutely. So let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's say you've managed to escape the attack.
Yep.
You're shaken up.
Yep.
Adrenaline's pumping.
Right.
What do you do next? What are some of the things that people often forget in that moment?
First things first, any bite that breaks the skin,
Yeah.
even if it seems minor, you need to see a doctor immediately.
Right, because of rabies.
Exactly. Rabies is a serious risk, and prompt medical care can prevent a lot of complications.
So even if you think you're okay, better safe than sorry.
Always. And you also want to document everything.
Okay, like write down what happened.
Exactly. While it's fresh in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
this can be really important for any legal action
Oh, right, of course.
or for reporting the dog to the authorities.
So basically play detective after the fact.
Kind of, yeah. Write down anything and everything you can remember.
Like what are some of the specifics we should focus on?
Details about the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Breed, size, color, any markings. Was it wearing a collar?
Mm.
Tags.
Mm.
And how was it behaving before and during the attack? Barking, growling, lunging. Was it scared, aggressive, something else?
Those are really helpful details. And speaking of reporting,
Yeah.
how important is it to report an attack, especially if it was a stray dog?
It's crucial. You're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting the community.
Right.
It can prevent future incidents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it can help get the dog the help it needs, whether that's training or, in extreme cases, removal from the community.
So reporting isn't about punishing the dog.
Right.
It's about keeping everyone safe.
Exactly. And we also have to remember the emotional side of things.
Oh, absolutely.
A dog attack can leave deep scars, even if the physical ones heal.
Right. Trauma is real.
Exactly. So don't minimize the emotional impact. Don't be afraid to seek professional help if you need it.
Like therapy or a support group?
Yeah, talking to someone can make a huge difference in processing the experience and moving forward.
So we've covered a lot today. From understanding dog behavior and preventing attacks to knowing what to do during and after an attack. Right.
I'm feeling a lot more informed, and I'm sure our listeners are too.
I hope so.
What are some key takeaways you want to leave everyone with?
It's important to remember we've been talking about some pretty intense stuff.
Yeah.
But statistically, serious dog attacks are rare.
That's good to hear. I mean, we don't want to make people afraid of every dog they see.
Right, exactly. It's all about knowledge and empowering yourself.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly. The more you understand about dog behavior, the better you can coexist with them safely.
It's like learning first aid.
Yeah, exactly.
You hope you never have to use it,
Right,
but if you do, you're prepared.
exactly. And just like with first aid, reacting calmly and effectively can make all the difference. So as you're out and about, don't tense up every time you see a dog.
Right. Don't be scared.
Use what we've talked about. Observe their body language.
Yeah, like is the dog relaxed, wiggly, coming up to you with a wagging tail?
Yeah, that's probably a friendly pup.
Probably a good sign.
Yeah.
Right. But if you sense tension, stiffness, intense eye contact, give them space.
Back away slowly.
Exactly. And remember those techniques. Pat, pet paws, and treat and retreat.
Those are great, yeah.
They're all about respect and communication.
Give the dog some choice.
Exactly.
You know what I was thinking about?
What's that?
Those barrier techniques.
Oh, yeah.
Using a backpack, jacket, anything you can grab.
It's amazing how effective those simple things can be.
Right, you don't have to be a martial arts expert.
No, not at all. It's about awareness, making smart decisions, and knowing how to protect yourself.
We've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
Do you have any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Dogs are amazing creatures. The more we understand them, the safer we all are. So keep learning, keep observing.
Yeah, great advice.
And remember, even a little knowledge can go a long way in building a better relationship with our furry friends.
Beautifully said. This deep dive has been so informative, not only, practical knowledge, but also I just have a deeper appreciation for dogs now.
Me too.
So remember, everyone, if you found this deep dive helpful, share it with your friends, family, anyone who interacts with dogs. The more we know, the safer we all are.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.